So, to Guernsey's status as a leading centre of sustainable finance and our leading product in the green, ESG and sustainable finance space. That position is built on a serious and significant commitment by the jurisdiction to the global sustainable finance agenda. A commitment too from the highest political and corporate levels, and one that has now become embedded at the firm level across our finance sector. In this space, I am proud to say, we have no compare amongst our peers. Over 75% of regulated funds in Guernsey are managed or administered by firms that are signatories to the United Nations Principles of Responsible Investment. And Guernsey is a member of several United Nations Environment Programme initiatives. Our regulator is a member of the Network for Greening the Financial System, and we are members of the United Nations Finance Centres for Sustainability's Global Network and the United Nations Sustainable Insurance Forum. And our insurance sector, the Industry Association, GEAR, is a signatory to the UN's Sustainable Insurance Principles. Our commitment to global good extends to financial support of the British Standards Institute Sustainable Finance Standardisation Programme and the development of a fund standard for sustainable finance. Before I dig into the detail of Guernsey's leading product in the green, ESG and sustainable finance space, it's worth a quick recap of the green, ESG and sustainable finance investing. This template I'm sure many of you have seen before. It sets out the spectrum of sustainable investing, from the starting block of the original negative screen out of sin stocks through ESG integration, where, as the previous discussion will have no doubt ably covered, the process is assessing securities, particularly in the listed space, against a range of environmental, social and governance criteria to provide commonly a normative reference of suitable investment opportunities. Then, moving through to forward-looking investment in impact opportunities against the criterion reference sustainability criteria, commonly measured against the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. And in this space, SDG 13, we have green finance as a specific goal and effective asset class in its own right. And it's in this area, green finance, making a strategic commitment as a jurisdiction to be a leader in this field, that has been a cornerstone of Guernsey's approach to sustainable finance. Informed in particular by COP21 and TCFD, the Task Force for Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, we have established a comprehensive product offer in this space. Given our engagement with the United Nations Environment Programme, we have been able to develop our pillar approach to developing a sustainable finance ecosystem. And being outside the EU, we have been able to develop our own approach to sustainable finance product development, unconstrained by the prescriptive regulatory approach of the EU and the accompanying granularity and cost of the impending regulatory technical standards of ESMA. That's not to say we won't be informed by the EU taxonomy. Guernsey's commercial success is based on meeting and conforming to international standards, and our approach to sustainable finance is no different here. Our strategy is very much to align with international standards, and indeed, it's that commitment that informs our support of the British Standards Institute work on the standardisation agenda. But our freedom has meant, as a jurisdiction, we've been free to develop our own approach to the development of products and services. And as you'll see here, we've been able to develop a range of products second to none in breadth and depth. We developed the world's first regulated regime for green funds, which I'll turn to shortly. In the debt space, you'll find commercial providers in Guernsey lending at preferential rates, both to retail and corporate clients. And particularly of interest, I'd imagine, to this audience, lenders offering preferential rates in the green fund space too. We see much activity in the structured note space too. We have also TISE Green, providing a robust regulated regime covering any type of instrument, bonds, securities, for example, listed on the exchange. And we have various products in the insurance space. And in a few weeks' time, we'll be publishing our ESG and Sustainable Finance Framework for insurance-linked securities, which will be a global first development. Another, or rather I should say our first global first development, was the Guernsey Green Fund regime, designed to provide a robust and transparent product for GPs and LPs alike. We're rather proud of the achievement and testament to the flexibility of our regulatory environment and the innovation of Guernsey's finance sector. Our rationale was to provide confidence in the underlying greenness of the investment product, removing fears of greenwashing, which our own research had told us was a concern holding back development of investment funds in this space. Our ambition being to make the fundraising process easier for such investments and thus reducing by implication the cost of capital for such investments and increasing the flow of funds to this space. And as you'll see here, that's already proven to be the case, with Jeremy Allen Jones, the Chief Operating Officer of ABM Capital, explaining how the regime helped with the fundraising process for its CIBUS fund. The regime itself is pretty simple and straightforward. The fund rules are just 12 pages long, including annexes and schedules. It's a notification and disclosure regime. It applies across any fund type. Indeed, we have some of London's largest listed renewable infrastructure funds, down to small private funds investing in forest in the UK within the regime. Just follow these 3 easy steps. Establish the fund, determine which international taxonomy or standards will be adopted. Happily, the set of qualifying taxonomies are set out in Schedule 2 to the rules and will include the EU taxonomy in time. And 3, comply with the simple and straightforward notification and disclosure requirements. The final step is certification. That is basically vouching that the investments do what they say on the tin. There's 2 routes. Route 1, through a third party, i.e. an ESG consultancy or professional services provider. Route 2, by a regulated manager or administrator of the fund. This robustness and confidence in the accreditation and verification process was what our research told us was lacking in this space. We felt this approach would best create this, and it's been a success. As you'll see here, the rules also incorporate an ESG overlay requirement, an approach we're actively exploring how we can extend across any type of investment fund in a voluntary disclosure regime. And more news on that front, I hope, in the next few months, as we build out in Guernsey our products and services into the ESG and sustainable finance space. We're not resting on our laurels. Reflecting our status as Europe's leading specialist centre for private equity administration, earlier this year we published our Green Private Equity Principles, broadly speaking an idiot's 101 guide for GPs and LPs. Every survey and conversation told us that the landscape was confused by numerous worthy but lengthy reports. In this ESG era, what wasn't needed was another several 100-page long document and report that did nothing other than act as a paperweight or a doorstop. So 2 pillars, 8 principles and 20 pages. We've created, we believe, an indispensable blueprint for the PE sector. And I'm especially pleased that Tim Hames, Director General of the British Venture Capital Association from 2013 to 2019, saw fit to endorse these principles to the market earlier this year, providing the forward to the published report and also this public commendation that we've reproduced here. Please do go to our website and download a copy. Indeed, if you do go to our website, there's a huge amount of material we publish that should be of interest and of use. There's not just these principles to download, but also our various guides to regimes and our whole sustainable finance offer. There's also much research we've undertaken and published in recent years. You'll see here we've particularly concentrated on private equity and private wealth sectors for obvious reasons, these being Guernsey's particular specialisms. Of particular interest is the report on family office with accompanying forward by Guernsey resident Stephen Lansdowne, which was published with a roundtable moderated by Bloomberg's private wealth correspondent Ben Stupples last year in London. Our focus in recent months has been on the issue of private capital financing sustainability, and we held our own highly successful digital week in the first week of June, when other centres had cancelled their events. I strongly recommend you go to our on-demand section of our website, where you'll see a very strong lineup of panellists discussing this issue.